Everyone is not the same in this world. You are different from everyone else. Your existence is very special, very sublime. You have the power to do what no one else can do. You have very special powers for God and for the world. They are very curious about your existence because your existence is very mysterious to everyone. Write 77 in the comments and show everyone what this mystery is and what this mystery means. Some people are like a mystery. The more you try to solve it, the more complicated it becomes. Their presence forces you to look at the world from the usual molds. When you look at them, your mind cannot make a decision. Should you admire them or keep your distance? These personalities have an inexpressible depth that makes you feel that there is more to them than what they project. The human mind wants to quickly categorize new acquaintances, but when you meet them, this process becomes a distraction. The reason is simple. They do not fit into any category. They have transcended the norms around them and have carved their own unique path. This is why people find it difficult to understand them. This difference arouses interest on the one hand and creates a slight uneasiness on the other, because the comfort of the predictable disappears around them. They have the power to change the energy around them, but it is a quiet and profound effect. They do not try to dominate anyone, but their presence is perceived as a direct challenge. Their energy, like a gentle melody, once recognized, leaves an indelible mark on the ear. Every environment they enter takes on a different flavor thanks to them. People try to understand this change, but it is not always possible. Being around them is like living in a riddle. You have to discover a different side of them every time. They are different from those who people easily understand, and this both fascinates and challenges those around them. Their self-confidence comes not with noise, but with calm determination. This may seem threatening to some, but in fact, it is nothing more than their nature. They prefer to be themselves. This never involves any effort or calculation. This is why they constantly surprise people. Their existence is a reminder that goes beyond the usual. And this reminder leaves a mark that no one can easily forget. Some people push the limits of others' thinking with their mere presence. Approaching them is like solving a puzzle. Their every gesture carries a clue to discover. They create a non-verbal effect, ask complex questions, but do not give answers. Being with them is like suddenly realizing the truths you have been hiding from yourself. Without any effort, they hold up a mirror that illuminates the deepest corners of who you are. This is why people around them often cannot express exactly what they feel. They are caught between conflicting emotions, torn between admiration and fear. Because these people are not ordinary and cannot be explained by ordinary reactions. Their influence is like a wave. Once they arrive, they leave behind a silent change. They do not force you to take action, but their presence is already like a call for change. This call, which reveals your insecurities, may turn into an uncomfortable confrontation for some. Some choose to keep their distance from them because their energy signals personal cracks. Others misinterpret this influence and turn to criticism. However, these people do not try to change anyone. They simply exist as they are. This natural stance challenges the world around them and causes people to question their own secrets. For them, success depends neither on conventional ways nor on generally accepted rules. They act out of order, but not chaotic. On the contrary, they follow an invisible harmony. People find it difficult to understand this originality. They do not seem to move forward with visible effort, but as if in silent agreement with the universe. In a world where others are traveling along charted paths, Their direction does not fit any map. For some, this is a source of fascinating curiosity. For others, an incomprehensible discomfort. Because their presence is a silent reminder that rules and boundaries are only an illusion. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. These people cannot be squeezed into a mold, and trying to understand them brings the complexity of self-examination. The simple but striking truth they present in life is the trace of an authenticity that belongs to no one. And this authenticity is too heavy for anyone to carry, but at the same time, inevitably impressive. You are a person who draws your own lines and stays away from the usual routes. In people's eyes, you stand like an open door to the unknown in a world that exists in an order. The invisible rules built by the society, while offering a safety net to most people, are just a border for you. Many people cling to the comfort of these rules, but you have chosen to remain a stranger to this order. People are disturbed by the repercussions of your unorthodox thoughts and actions. This is because you are subverting the truths they have accepted without thinking about it. For many, this is a reminder that threatens the comfort of the familiar. You seem to have made questioning a way of life. For every "as it should be" sentence you are told, you respond with the question, "Why not?" This questioning attitude is not a simple challenge. It is part of the way you make sense of life. While others follow linear paths, you discover your own path through intuition. What bothers you is the idea of a controlled life, so your non-standard decisions make you look like a rebel in the eyes of others. However, you only live what is true for you. The way you define success does not conform to conventional thinking. A goal that may seem illogical to someone else may be the right step for you. You refuse to fit into one of society's templates of what is right, and instead create your own unique reality. This shakes people's perception of order. They see only disharmony in your choices, whereas for you, they are the result of a natural flow. Being in harmony with yourself causes others to question themselves. You are like a narrative that refuses to be compressed into a single story. You bring a different perspective on life, and this perspective not only expresses your own freedom, but also changes the questions others ask themselves. This attitude of yours, which silently makes them question the validity of the order they believe in, is more the nature of your existence than a challenge. The truth is that not everyone can afford to live this way, and yet the idea inspires them, even if they don't accept it. Your words are not a simple echo, but a profound collision. Every sentence is like an impulse that reveals the truth underneath the surface of things. People often expect emotional relief from what others say, but your words leave them with a truth they have hidden even from themselves. It is neither a challenge nor an endeavor. It is simply your honesty to convey the truth without changing its nature. What you express can pierce through someone else's thought shields, sometimes leaving them amazed and sometimes on the defensive. Most people want peace of mind, but you are used to the disturbing echo of the truth, and this drives many away from their usual comfort. You don't hesitate to tell the truth because it is more tiring to carry the weight of falsehood. You speak not to please people, but because it means something. This forces others to look under their own masks, and this is not always welcomed. Some may see your words as an awakening. Others may find you too cruel or harsh. But the point is that when what you say touches their lives, it triggers a profound change, even if they don't realize it at the time. The raw truth is difficult to face, and you are a direct reflector, not a mediator who facilitates this encounter. You seem to be a rare constant in a world where what is current is constantly changing. While everything around you flows quickly into the next, you stand like a rooted stability outside this ephemeral flow. Instead of chasing after fashion, popular ideas, and fast-paced agendas, you seek a deeper meaning. This transforms you into a character that makes you timeless. While most people are caught up in the ephemeral, you follow what is real and lasting. Although you are not always the center of attention, your presence is unforgettable. You carry something beyond the superficial, like an understanding that transcends the boundaries of time. People may not recognize you immediately, but your presence leaves a mark somewhere deep inside. Years from now, they will look at your traces in their lives and remember you and the depth you carry. In a world where the temporary seems permanent, your quiet but determined presence is a guide, a reminder of what truth and authenticity truly mean. You do not experience life in an ordinary way. You feel every emotion to its roots and touch its essence. While many people prefer to stay on the surface out of self-preservation instinct, you do not hesitate to go deeper into feelings. Happiness is not a temporary satisfaction for you. It is like a sacred moment when you touch the essence of life. Grief is not a burden to be avoided, but a guide full of meaning and transformation. This depth surprises those around you. It is attractive to some and disturbing to others. Your emotional intuition allows you to see subtleties that others fail to notice. When you listen, you don't just hear, you perceive with your whole being. You grasp people's feelings that they can't put into words. You intuit truths they don't say. This draws some people closer to you and drives others away, because not everyone can handle such transparency. This depth defines not only your interactions with others, but also your journey within yourself. You are not afraid to face the harsh realities of life, to go after your own shadows. This courage gives you wisdom, but you don't always expect to be understood. When people label you as overly sensitive or too intense, it shows that they have difficulty understanding your different approach to life. But somewhere beyond these misunderstandings, you embrace the complexity of life in all its aspects. The world often prefers to be simplified. People need clear definitions, certain patterns, but you exist outside these boundaries. You do not fit neatly into a category, nor are you limited by definitions. This both fascinates and unsettles those who seek clarity about you. Sometimes you act on your own. Sometimes you form deep bonds with others. You can be unexpectedly serious and surprisingly playful at the same time. Such a varied existence astonishes those looking for order. You choose neither to be part of a system nor to go against it. You prioritize being just like yourself. This originality causes others to question their life patterns. People measure the flexibility of their own limits with your presence. This both makes them think and frightens them. They realize that if you can live without being limited by any definition, maybe they don't need it either. And the existence of this freedom is a challenge in itself for those who have been trying to adapt for years. Embracing your complexity makes you unforgettable, because the meaning of life is hidden somewhere beyond definitions. You don't need to speak loudly or make remarkable gestures to shake the world. Your mere presence is enough. You can overturn the orders people are accustomed to, the rules that have been adopted without question, without any effort. While most people are trying to find a way through the system, you seem to have stepped outside it. Whichever path you choose, you make visible flaws and contradictions that others overlook. You don't need big words or remarkable actions for this. Even your simple and natural demeanor forces you to reevaluate the world around you. Being yourself makes you question why conventional patterns exist, and that in itself is a revolution. Your actions do not carry a message, but even through silence, you trigger change. People may not realize it, but even your non-conformity is like a rebellion. You don't need to speak. What you do, even what you don't do, leaves the door open for questioning. Not following the crowd often reminds others of a power they have forgotten: the value of individual choice. In a world where everyone goes with the flow, it takes courage to question that flow, and you do it without thinking. This creates a subtle unease in people because they begin to question how accurately their lives are structured. This magnetic pull around you makes it almost impossible to remain indifferent. People find it difficult to take a clear position on you. They either praise you with great admiration or criticize you intensely. Some see in your authenticity something that they feel is missing in themselves, and this binds them to you. Others try to avoid you because they see in you a truth from which they are running away. Either way, you leave an indelible impression on those around you. This intense attention, admiration, or criticism is on the one hand a sign of your power, but on the other hand, it carries an exhausting weight. People make a great effort to define, understand, and even control you. Their attempts to understand you often turn into attempts to overcome their own limits and fears. For you, however, this attention is shaped neither by praise nor criticism. You focus only on walking your own path. Even in the midst of such intense attention, your presence is unforgettable, not because you are loved, but because you leave your mark. This is a unique gift that makes you both rare and powerful. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Your existence on this earth is very special and very sacred. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this gesture will come back to you 100-fold in abundance. You don't avoid facing your own truths. It's like carrying the story of your struggles instead of hiding the scars they have left on you. People find it difficult to understand the courage to exist in such an open and authentic way. For them, power is often defined by walls of defense and control mechanisms. You prove that strength is accepting who you are and showing it fearlessly. Your presence causes people to question themselves. How can a person be vulnerable and at the same time stand so firm? Being yourself often arouses mixed feelings in those around you. Some find in your openness a source of inspiration for themselves. Others see it as a threat because they are afraid to face their own hidden truths. But you go your own way, regardless of the reactions of the outside world. Your imperfections are not a burden for you, they are part of your strength. This makes you not only more real, but also a figure that makes it possible to connect with others and be understood. The path you walk in life is like a meteorite shining among the stars. Its direction and speed are unknown, but it leaves its mark where it passes. Most people see the world as a stage and declare themselves to be at the center of this stage. the protagonist of the scenario. For them, everything is planned, predictable, and organized. However, you are not a part of that scenario. Like an unexpected ray of light in the sky, you appear with an unusual beauty and present a different reality to those around you. Your presence challenges others' carefully constructed perception of the world. In their imagination, there is an order, a rhythm, but you are like a song that is outside that order. Your melody is so strong that no one can hear it. Your nature, which does not conform to the drawn roots, causes them to question the rules they are used to. As people try to understand who you are and where you belong, they confront their own limits. And this confrontation is both fascinating and shocking for them. For people who are the protagonists of their own stories, you are a paradox. You are an unknown that defies the ordinary. Your life offers an example that does not fit into conventional narratives. While they live with the limited perspectives they have been taught, your every step points to possibilities they do not see. It is like an unwritten message with your presence. Life is more than you know. What is disturbing for them is that you clearly refuse to play any role. You live life in your own unique way, not according to the scripts of others. This freedom inspires others and frightens them at the same time, because it makes them question their own choices, their own beliefs, and even their own path. You are not a subversive of order. You are merely a representative of a broader perspective. Your presence is not only eye-catching, but also leaves a lasting impression. Like the brightness of a star, your light is felt for a long time, even if you disappear. People cannot forget something about you, because you remind them that there is meaning beyond life. And this reminder can be the beginning of a profound change. The meaning of your life is not to adapt to the stories of others, but to write your own story. This story represents a journey that defies boundaries. You do not fit into the narrow molds of others because your existence shows that there is a world beyond those molds. You carry a beauty that others do not see, and this beauty is a guide for anyone who dares to face their own reality. The impact you have on those around you is quiet, but jarring. You leave a mark that stays in their minds even after you are gone. They cannot forget you because your presence triggers a sense of loss they are not aware of. It makes them feel that their lives are not limited to their own perspective, and this realization can cause deep discomfort. Just by being who you are, you make people question the limits they set for themselves. The fact that you live a life beyond the ordinary challenges their easy explanations of life. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking on the Super Thank You button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Trying to understand, you can be a confusing and uncomfortable journey for others. Most people live life according to a certain pattern, following the paths laid down by rules, not questioning the limits. Your presence, however, blurs those boundaries. You live beyond the safe spaces of others. This lifestyle causes them to question the norms they are used to. For them, you are an unorthodox example, undefinable, and therefore a question mark that haunts them. You build your life not according to templates, but according to your own reality. Those who look at you feel both admiration and uneasiness in the face of this difference, because your every move disrupts the memorization of others. Even without touching people's comfort zones, your presence causes them to question these zones. Your originality causes them to ask questions about their own lives that they have never thought about before. Can't I be like this? Or do I really live my life by my own choices? When you enter a room, they feel that something has changed. Not your words or behavior, but your mere presence makes an impression. This impact is more than simple admiration or admiration. On your journey, people have the opportunity to see beyond their own limitations. This is often frightening, because going beyond their familiar structures shakes their sense of security. This journey of yours is like a silent revolution. When people meet you, they begin to transcend their own limits without realizing it. You have not come to this world to harmonize. You are here to inspire a redefinition of harmony in this world. While they are trying to understand your story, they are actually gathering courage to write their own stories. This is your greatest strength. You are like a candle in a vast, dark room, small yet steady, casting light that reveals hidden corners and inspires others to light their own flames. Your light doesn't demand attention. It doesn't shout or overwhelm, but its quiet persistence reaches far beyond what the eye can see. That's the kind of presence you bring to this world. You don't have to preach or persuade. Your life, lived authentically, is the sermon. It's the gentle reminder that others can step out of the shadows and embrace their own light. Living your life as it is, unapologetically and without pretense, is a message far louder than words could ever convey. You don't need to shout to be heard. Your actions are the echo of a greater truth, a truth that stirs something deep within those who encounter you. Every decision you make, every step you take, becomes a quiet but profound invitation for others to examine their own paths. You remind them, not through persuasion, but by simply being, that they too can choose authenticity over conformity, courage over comfort. People don't just see what you do, they feel it. Your presence sparks a curiosity in their hearts, an unspoken question. If they can live with such purpose and grace, why can't I? Your life becomes a living example, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. You show that there's strength in vulnerability, beauty in imperfection, and power in being true to yourself. For many, the world feels like a stage where they must play a role, where masks and pretenses are expected. But you've chosen a different way. You've stepped off the stage entirely, walking instead into the open field of truth, where there are no scripts and no expectations other than those you set for yourself. And in doing so, you encourage others to do the same. It's not about rebelling against the world. It's about creating a new way of being in it. Your life, lived fully and freely, becomes a call to action. It whispers to those who watch you, there's more to life than what you've been told. There's more than the roles you've played and the paths you've followed. There's something greater waiting for you when you step into who you truly are. And this message isn't confined to a single conversation or a single moment. It lingers, planting seeds in the hearts of others that may sprout long after you've left the room. Your light is not just a spark, it's a reflection of a greater purpose, a reminder that life's beauty lies in its authenticity. And as others step into their own light, inspired by yours, they too begin to transform the world around them, one small flame at a time. That is your gift, your message, and your lasting legacy. It is encouraging to know that this journey is just the beginning. If you are ready to break the rote, cross boundaries, and discover a deeper meaning, this journey is worth continuing. Continue to embrace your authenticity, break the mold, and live a life that is not satisfied with mediocrity. You are proving that you are not just a being, but a force of transformation, and this is the most lasting mark you will leave on the world.